yesterday was Shabbat, so today's first day, Sunday, right? I was getting into the book of Revelation with Matthew from Moose Run Coffee, and we were talking about kind of like just ideas that are perpetuated within the thought or what is being taught in the Christian church as pertaining to eschatology, which is the study of the end of the age, right? So when we actually take a look at this, there are a lot of prominent differences here where the Christian church teaches that when you die, you go to heaven. That's not a biblical concept, and you got to hear me out on this. I have not seen anywhere in Scripture that states we go to heaven, but I see many statements throughout Scripture that state that there is a resurrection of the saints and that heaven is coming to earth, which perpetuates the idea, I think a lot of people call the idea soul sleep, which within the idea of sleeping, you have no recollection or concept of time when you sleep. You just wake up and it's the next day. So I would imagine it's the same idea as when you die. When you die, you have no recollection or concept of time. But when Yeshua returns, you see the resurrection of the saints, right? At which point you die, and then you are resurrected into his glory. Cool idea. Honestly, I'm inclined to believe it. Because, again, I've said, I've not seen anything that states that we go to heaven within context, right? Because the Christian church will also teach that the rapture states that we go to heaven. That's not what it says. We are called into the heavens where Yeshua is, but he is on his way to earth. So it's not that we go to heaven, it's that we are risen up and then he executes his judgment and we are brought back, right? Interesting concept. So, all of that, right? All of that's going on. In Revelation chapter 6, I think it's verses 12 and 13, it says that Yeshua, he returns, right? That's the sixth seal. Because another thing that is taught in the idea of eschatology, and we'll go down this. I'm going to do a Bible study on this with you guys. But anyways, the Christian church teaches that, well, there's a rapture, and when Yeshua returns, it's going to happen, right? We're going to be taken out. But I have not seen anything from a scriptural basis that dictates that there will be a rapture. Okay? Now, the harpazo, the grabbing of the saints so that they will not live throughout the tribulation. And what they fail to do is they actually fail to define their terms. See, because tribulation is actually, without better words, it's bullshit that mankind has brought on themselves, on ourselves, right? They act like the tribulation is judgment from the Father, and that's not the case at all. They say we are not appointed to wrath. You're absolutely right, we're not appointed to wrath, because the wrath is the bowls of wrath that is poured out on the earth, as you see later on in Revelation. They teach that the bowls, the trumpets, and the seals coincide together. Some teach that they're chronological. I'm inclined to believe, personally from my studies, that they are chronological. A lot to take into consideration here. And I will prove this with reading later on. We're going to, like I said, we're going to dive into this. It's super interesting. But I've got all of these thoughts. And, frankly, I'd like to know what you guys think. hopefully this maybe got some of your attention, not necessarily tickled the ears, but grabbed your ear, so to speak. And yeah, I would really like to get your attention, get to know what it is that you guys believe, and we'll dive into this together. And by the way, I also want to know how many of you guys would be interested in a Zoom call specifically with me for the sole purpose of a Bible study. And mind you, I will not do this on YouTube. It will be for specific people. Honestly, it's my Patreon. That will be something that is exclusive to Patreon only, and it will be probably a tier level, because I don't want to waste my time with people who aren't serious, frankly. So I'm hoping that should weed out the chaff, so to speak. But anyways, how many of you guys would be interested? If you are interested, please check out my Patreon. I will be putting that up shortly. Anyways, shalom.